Here, Joe Biden giving an interview to Jake Tapper of CNN, not knowing what the hell he's talking about in regards to oil, and Saudi claims that Joe Biden is asking Saudi to meddle in November's midterm elections. You can't make it up. Enjoy. Real truth.
Let's turn to Saudi Arabia. Some of your Democratic allies on Capitol Hill are afraid that the U.S. got played when you went to Saudi Arabia and fist bumped with the Crown Prince, because now, obviously, a few months later, Saudi-backed OPEC is slashing oil production in partnership with Russia. The chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Menendez, just called for a freeze on cooperation with Saudi Arabia, including most arms sales. Senator Durbin, the number 2 Democrat in the Senate, says the Saudis sided with Russia against the United States. Do you think it's time for the U.S. to rethink its relationship with Saudi Arabia?
Yes, and by the way, let's get straight why I went. I didn't go to one about oil. I went about making sure that we made sure that we weren't going to walk away from the Middle East and what was going on. And by the way, today I just got off the telephone with the president I got off the phone with the Prime Minister of Israel and the President of Lebanon. They've worked out a deal. They've been at war, declared war with one another for a long time. They've worked out a boundary relationship along in the Eastern Mediterranean for oil. And they're going to make an agreement that is historic. But it wasn't. There were eight other parties there. It wasn't about oil.
Okay, but
But we should, and I am in the process when the House and Senate gets back, they're going to have to. There's going to be some consequences for what they've done with Russia.
What kind of consequences? Menendez says suspend all arms sales. Is that something you'd consider?
Well, no. Well, we're selling them bombs. We're selling them bombs, and the purpose in selling those bombs is to keep them from killing more innocent civilians, because they're really poor at conducting military operations. So. Anyway, I don't want to debate that with you right now. What I'll say is,
I'm not going to get into what I'd consider and what I have in mind, but there will be consequences.
The midterm elections are 4 weeks from today.
He said, the Biden administration, Biden himself, at a climate conference, he said Saudi Arabia should be punished for its hydrocarbon production and how Saudi Arabia is exacerbating the climate change. And now he is asking us to pump more oil. And you see the double standards here. The third thing, which is very important and hasn't been very well reported by the media, which is the fact that the U.S. administration urged Saudi Arabia to delay the production cut for a month. So that tells us what? It tells us that it has nothing to do about Russia at all whatsoever. It's all about the midterm elections, which means the U.S. Democratic Party wants the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to meddle in the U.S. elections, to basically help them out. And that's why I said earlier, the U.S. ship is too big to fail, but too divided to sail.